What's up, everybody? Sean here with another Live to Roll video. As a lot of you guys know that have followed my channel, this year has been kind of a rough year for me with the botox injections really just kind of really severely weakening me. I went 4 months where I couldn't even transfer myself. I could barely push the chair. I wasn't able to drive. Wasn't able to do anything. So I kind of had to restart working out again, which was like the only thing I could do to try to keep myself from going crazy and try to build my strength back as fast as I could without just like waiting for the Botox to leave my system, which inevitably I kind of had to wait a lot of time. But it did speed up the process by me kind of trying to do my own little thing, working out. So what I did and what I have to for a lot of the newer patients, so if you're like a newly injured quad or I guess newly injured anything really, but especially quad because you have such limited, we have such limited arm function, and some might even be less limited than mine. But when you first are hurt, it's hard to know how much strength you have and stuff because you feel really weak because you're missing muscles that you thought you had or you normally had before. Um, so it's hard for new patients to kind of start to build that strength up. I think the earliest stages are the hardest part. Once you get over that first little hump, it's a lot easier to kind of keep building up and keep your strength up. So what I did and what I would suggest for anybody that's a newly injured patient, or if you've been in the chair for a while, especially if you're a quad in a power chair and you just really haven't tried to do a lot, but you can if you have some arm function, like even if you can just move your hand up to scratch your head a little bit, that's function. So that's initially, like when I was first hurt, I couldn't feed myself. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get my hand up to my mouth, like especially with a fork or a cuff or anything on my hand to bring it up to do it. It was hard. I couldn't do it. I didn't have the strength to do it. So basically, what I did, I forced myself to try. So every day, even if I couldn't do it, I was trying. I would pick up the fork and I would try and I would try. And even if I got it 2 inches off the plate, stumbled and fell, that was as good as I could do for that day. I would have somebody help me. It was fine. But I still tried. I worked on it every day. And just that basic, first motion, eventually I was able, to get a fork to my mouth. I was able to wrap my hands around things and eat them, which was also hard to learn in the beginning. Just a side tip, not having hot and cold sensitivity in your hands. Don't put your hands around hot food because you will burn the shit out of your hands, which I have done countless times. I don't even know how many times. All these fingers have had multiple blisters on in their fingertips and stuff just from holding hot food. Sorry, side point. But so basically, that's what I did in the very beginning to build up my strength. Slow. It was a really slow process at first. It literally was just trying to bring my hand up to my face over and over. And I would do that in between meals. I would just try to eat over and over, over and over. Try to do 10 reps, 20 reps, 50 reps. And then eventually you can get to the point where you can do it for a full meal. And in the beginning, I would be able to, even once I started to be able to get that full process, like being able to feed myself, sometimes I couldn't last for the whole meal. So I would do as much as I could. I would do 10 bites or whatever it was I could. And then as my arms started to feel weak and got a little shaky or spasmy, I would just kind of let somebody else take over. I had friends and family and nurses and stuff when I was in the hospital. And then once I got out of the hospital, same thing. Once I was home, I just made myself try to feed myself. I think that's the reason why I was able to become as independent as I have been, is just pure stubbornness. I hated having other people feed me and having other people do stuff for me or waiting on other people to get around to help you. I just too impatient and too stubborn. My thought was, screw it, I'll try to learn it myself. So I did, so that's just what I did. So once I was able to feed myself fully, I was able to do a full meal with my hand, with both arms lifting. I would practice with both, even though I don't eat with my left. That was just part of my workout routine. I was doing that all the time in rehab, all the time for the first probably year of getting out of the hospital, just constantly trying to feed myself. And then as I got a little stronger, I would wrap my hand around the water bottle, and I usually couldn't do it with a full water bottle. But once the water bottle was pretty low, and I have maybe just like a couple of drinks left in it, I would hold that water bottle and I would use it as kind of a weight, and I would try to bring that to my mouth, bring that to my mouth, bring that to my mouth, and then just over time getting more and more water until eventually I could start with a new bottle of water and I could actually lift it. That took months, literally months, to figure out how to do, to get the water bottle to my mouth on my own. So I mean, the process isn't easy. It can be super frustrating. There'll be days that are really hard and you kind of get down on it and get down on yourself. That's normal. That's natural. That's just going to happen. But it's that initial hump. Once you get over that hump, everything becomes easier. So once I was able to feed and drink on my own, I switched over to trying to actually work out. So I bought 5-pound arm weights, which I could not lift for anything, but they have their individual 1-pound weights in them. So actually, I think they're less than 1 pound. I think they're 3/4 pound weights, and then they just add up to the 5 pounds. So what I did was I started with one weight in the arm weight, and I'd wrap it on, and so it wasn't even a full pound I was lifting, and I would just do that. I would just try shoulder raises. I would try them forward. I would just punch, do anything I could. I just kind of kept them on my arms and moved around, just trying to move more and more. And I would literally do that for hours a day. I would sit in the couch, watch TV, I'd watch a show, I'd watch a movie, but the whole time I was watching the show or the movie, I was trying to keep my arms moving, trying to move, trying to move, trying to move. And then over time, I got strong enough to where I could add a second weight, a third weight, a fourth weight. And then after, I think it probably took me a year of working out with the weights until I finally did work up to the full 5-pound arm weights. And now, I use the 5-pound arm weights on my arms with the handy accessories, quad grip gloves, and like 5-pound dumbbells. And I can do arm weights and stuff, which I will show you guys some of those videos soon. I am doing more advanced workout videos, but this is just for the newer rangers. If you're just trying to get that initial push in. So just know that if you are trying to do that, don't get discouraged too early. Just it sucks, but you just kind of have to force yourself to try, and nobody else can force you to try. That's the one thing too. If family and stuff, everyone's pushing you. For me, my family was more babying me. They wanted to help me. And I just stubbornly said no. I didn't like being babied. I still don't like it. I don't like people having to feed me. I don't like people pushing my chair. I don't like having to be lifted into stuff. I just don't. It's I don't know. I just like to be able to do stuff on my own. I don't know what it is. Like, it is just a stubbornness that I've never been able to get rid of, but it has helped me with some stuff. Not other stuff as much, but it can be helpful. So yeah, like I was saying, pretty much just keep yourself moving. Even if you can't do any weights, but you can kind of lift your arms, just try to lift them and go higher and higher. Try to go as much as you can. Try to really keep that range of motion. Range of motion is really important in your shoulders and everything. So besides moving to build strength, moving to keep that range and to keep your muscles and tendons and everything stretched out is very beneficial as well too. That's just it. If you get everything starts to really tighten up on you, just moving and things are going to get harder. So, and that also goes for your entire body. I know a lot of people that have been hurt for a long time with their hip flexors, their hip muscles are really tight. So they can't flatten. Some of them can't flatten at all. Some of them just really struggle to flatten and lay flat. And that might be a lot of you out there. I've been able to combat that just because from the beginning I was diligent about stretching. I honestly don't know where that came from exactly, but I just knew in the back of my head that if I stayed in the one position all the time, I would get stuck like that. And I didn't ever want to be stuck in a position. I always, want to be able to move around and do stuff. So that's just another side tip. Stretching is super important too. And another thing, so like I stretch my shoulders and stuff, and so without triceps, I can't like extend out to lift, to lift my arm up. But I can cheat if I use with my hands together, lean back with balance, and kind of shoot my arms up with my shoulders, and then use balance to hold them up like this. But I do this every day to stretch, and then I'll let them drop and just stretch. So all that, obviously, you probably aren't going to be able to do that lift right off the bat, but that's another thing I used to do. I'd just be sitting on the couch and I'd watch TV, watch a movie, but I wouldn't just be sitting there being lazy watching. I would always be doing something, whether that is trying to lift my hands up above. And the only way I can do it, like I have no tricep to shoot, my arm out. So without having the tricep there, you need to do something, but to stretch up like that, it does feel really good on my shoulders and stuff. So for me, keeping stretched out, keeping loose, it just sort of keeps my shoulder pain down. And I do have a ton of shoulder pain, a ton of neck pain, a ton of joint pain. And that is just, 15 years of working out and doing stuff and using these quad arms. So besides just strengthening your arms and working on getting your eating and stuff, another thing I like to do is my neck. I just pull my neck up, and I do that in bed all the time. So when I'm in bed and I'm laying flat, I'll do neck raises where I lift my head up a little bit, lifting forward. And then when I'm on my stomach, laying down, I'll usually get on my elbows and be on my stomach, which gives me even a better stretch on my hips. So I get on my elbows and I do the same thing where I lift my head back and up, and I try to I'll do usually probably like 20 to 25 reps of each, which just sounds weird, but your head is heavy as hell and our neck is not that strong. So by strengthening the neck muscles, it really does help to keep you from getting as much of a hunch and keeping your head down, which with phones and stuff, my head is always looking down. So I'm constantly trying to strengthen these back neck muscles just to hold my big ass head up a little bit better. So I also I just pull my shoulders back, my shoulder blades, try to sit as high up and tall as I can. And then in the couch, since I have more stability and stuff, I can dig my elbows into the back and kind of push my bottom of my body out and then my shoulders back. And just all stuff to just help stretch a little bit, and also just to strengthen the little back and neck muscles and stuff. Just trying to gain any little bit of muscle function that might be still functioning, I want to get that as strong as I can. So I have every little muscle that I had still sort of functioning. Well, all right, guys, I kind of rambled on a little bit on a few different things. But main key points to the video are just, even if you have very, very limited strength in the beginning, just try to move. Move as much as you can. You don't have to lift anything for it to be a workout. You can have no weights if it's hard. If you struggle to lift your arm up, just keep practicing that. Do it over and over and over until eventually it does get easy and you don't have to think about it. And that's literally what I've had to do over this last 6 months. I've had to redo everything. I had to relearn my transfer. I had to build my strength up to the point where I couldn't even take my shirt off, which for me, that was one of the first things I learned how to do. Obviously it took me a while, because it took me a year and a half or so even just to build up enough strength to move my arms functionally. But once I did build the strength up, it's just been there, except for when, the Botox kind of stripped it out for a while. But it's all coming back now, so. And I've been working out a lot extra, kind of taking some extra levels, extra steps to get even past where I was before, hopefully, is my end goal. But anyways, guys, sorry about all the rambling. Thank you for watching the video. If you haven't already, please click that subscribe button. Any questions, comments, or anything down below. Definitely click the like button if you like the video. And check out my website, liveToRoll.org. And let's get a fist bump, guys. Live to roll, everybody.